Welcome to Forward Not Fetal, my daily vlog. Um, so I have been recording and I have super failed at uploading them the last 2 days because I kind of cock-blocked myself from the desk, and I cleared it a little bit this morning. And more importantly, one of the reasons it was cock-blocked, and instead of me clearing it yesterday, which I probably should have done, but I didn't, and I'm not feeling super great this morning. I'm not sure what's up, other than I did not eat super amazingly this weekend. Long weekend, whatever it is. But I finished my fall garden yesterday, and it feels, and one, I have to give a huge shout out to my amazing neighbor Adrian. On Sunday, she happened to be out at the same time I was, came over and said hi. We had a lovely conversation. She's really just delightful, and I really enjoy her company. And she was like, let me help you. And I was like, you really don't have to. But if you do, I mean, that's cool. I'm not gonna stop people if they want to do something, but I was like, you can just talk to me too, that's cool. And it was with her help that I was able to, that freaking loriope. Basically, we completely filled the gigantic yard waste container, and because it's just like this mat of roots, just this huge mat. It was terrible, and it really makes me regret not addressing the loriope that's freaking everywhere, and I don't entirely know what to do about it. So that's a thing, and but it felt like the seeds are down. I ended up putting a rock garden in at one end, which is from like the flagstone that used to be our front walk, that is excruciatingly slippery when wet. So when I was pregnant, I was like, it's fall, I'm gonna die. Like, I slip on this freaking walkway when I'm not ungainly and pregnant. We have to change this. So we did. Although we need to redo that now, but it's fine, it's safe at least, so whatever. But so I had that, and I had like a random bag and a half or whatever of these like red lava rocks that are decorative. I don't know. I just put them there, and I had like a couple of I really like white and blue china, and I have just random pieces, and as they have chipped or they're no longer, like the glaze is cracked or something, you won't like. I don't think it's a good idea to keep using cracked pottery that you don't know the provenance of. Like, I know I bought some sketchy shit. It's probably all leady. So I'm gonna go ahead and just not eat off that. And it's probably fine, but, like, I tend out trying to shed things anyway, but because I really love like these patterns and things, that I ended up using a couple of those bowls that I kind of set aside and was like, maybe I'd like to do some mosaic or something with them. But I used them kind of interspersed in the garden to kind of give like a little pop of color. And it just looks like nice. Like, I just grabbed a couple of rocks that were around, because there's this one corner that I didn't realize gets no sunlight at all, which is probably why nothing has grown there for a really long time. And it's where the two gutter points, and our gutter system really needs replacing. It is not in its finest shape, so it just pours water onto this spot. And I know that like we need to address the gutter issue, but that's not going to happen this weekend. And I also really want to make sure that like it's at least mitigating that waterfall. And it just looks kind of nice. Like, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, I like that. I like what's going on here. And so I planted my seeds, which are radishes. I have the best hope for actually getting a crop out of that, because like apparently they're very quick. Like, it's like 45 to 60 days, I think, until you harvest. So there's a very good chance, because we will not, the likelihood that we will have any kind of frost before November is very slim. And then I planted mustard greens that I am very hopeful for. Although, they're a longer time, but because they're not like growing like their leaves, so I'm hopeful that we'll get some sort of something out of it. It'll be cool. And then I also planted broccoli, which has the longest time to harvest. So what I kind of figure is I'm starting compost. Our soil is terrible. It's super, super heavy clay, and I need to arrange for an arborist chip drop because apparently those are like the best. But I haven't yet, and I don't have the money to just magically whatever. Um, and so, you know, getting greens to help kickstart the compost pile, I think, is a totally reasonable, like, I had the 3 seed packs. If anything grows, I'm going to be super excited. And I'm going to talk to Jack, usually does our lawn, and I'll have him, like, he does a lot of people's lawns, and so I'll be like, hey, could you dump your leaves here? That would be cool. And then I'll have various matter to add things to, and I'll add, I'm going to start I'm going to start eating vegetables so that I can add the scraps. Technically, I guess, because I've been trying to, when I have scraps, throw them in the freezer. I'm rambling, but I've made bone broth with, like, the chicken carcasses and various, like, just veggie scraps, and it's been pretty delicious. And now that we're coming into the fall, where, like, having soup actually seems, like, yummy. I mean, like, in 2 months when it's actually fall versus now when it's just unpleasant. Anyway, I'm very excited, and I feel very good about getting my garden complete. There's many things that need to happen in the grand scheme of things that we could do that would be better for it. I need to get chips down or mulch or something, anything down on there, because the soil is unprotected, and pulling the Liriope up, I lost a lot of what little topsoil there was is pretty much gone, I would say. Like, it's very limited. And, it's just, compaction is a big deal, and it really needs some organic material on top of it. I guess I should talk to Adrian to make sure it's okay, like, we're a good place to have them dump, because it's, like, you get a full load, and that's a lot. And I have a lot of ideas, and my head is, I think what I'm going to finally finish this rambling note on is one of the things that was very, like, inspiring yesterday, like, while I was finishing this and realizing that I'd finished and that, like, I'd done a thing and completed it, and, like, it'll grow or it won't, and that's fine, but, like, that part's out of my hands. But when I was in Seattle visiting my sister-in-law, her home and her backyard are this oasis. They are, and I mean, obviously when you're on vacation, it's a lot easier to be in an oasis, but there was also just a feeling of sanctuary, I think is the best way to describe it. Of, it's not about the perfect space, but it's about, like, an intention, about creating a place of respite, and that's really been driving me. Like, in some ways it was really depressing because I'm like, my house, and one of the things Carol pointed out was, like, 17 years in the making. It's not like it just sprouted, that's a lot of hard work. And, I could delve into, like, my own mental health issues and get, like, really depressed about, like, why didn't you start this 10 years ago? But, like, the truth of the matter is, the best time to plant a fruit tree is 10 years ago. The second best time is today. And so spending too much time dwelling on why didn't I do this before is not helpful. And what is helpful is I did this thing, and I felt these moments of calm and sanctuary where I felt both inspired for other things to do in our outdoor space that are physical labor, but are not, they're not, I'm trying to think of, like, a good way. They will take physical and mental effort and priority, but they're not a lot of finance, because I ain't got no money. So I'm not going to be dropping a lot of money on, like, buying fancy plants or anything, but, like, realizing that, like, oh, I can get an inexpensive trellis, or I can build an inexpensive trellis from scraps and plant inexpensive seeds like morning glory, so that next spring, instead of there being like this kind of weird gap, it can be this like wall of beautiful flowers because morning glory tends to grow very well, and it's not something I have to have there forever because it's an annual and maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't, and like just things that I can do to create that feeling that I'm trying to get, and just like every little incremental improvement really feels nice. Anyway, this is long as hell. This is gonna take like 6 years to upload. It's Tuesday. I'm I'm in a weird space, but I'm okay. If that makes any sense. I did, although the band-aid's not on, but I big old blister that then, like, as the blister formed, huge blister because I should have been wearing gloves, but then it immediately popped and scraped open, and I was like, ow, because it didn't hurt at first. Like at first, it's like that burn. Anyway, ow. But in my muscles, like I did like 1,000 squats. It burns, but my ass is gonna look amazing. And on that note, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.